23 days since Richard was forcibly removed from his barracks room there on Fort Bliss, um, taken down to the basement room, which was the arms room, a soundproof room, and his life was taken from him. Code red, with the CID involved, with Richard's chain of command involved. That it was cartel infiltration into our military, onto our military base, national security breach, huge national security breach. Um, and the DES was also involved. Okay, Thomas Kane, the director of emergency services, and therefore they could steal Richard's body, steal it right off of post, and traffic it to the most horrible, violent people that evidence indicates that they took his organs, monetized his body, and they disposed of it in Juarez, Mexico. So, if it wasn't for President Trump, we would not be this far with all of this breaking news all the time. I mean, we have had breaking news from the very beginning, just evidence upon evidence upon evidence. But we're talking now about very high level intelligence that is coming to us. We're talking about the inner workings of the Rockefeller Trilateral Commission. We're talking about the military intelligence community there, the training on Fort Huachuca, and those involved and who they are, and the really the Mormon faction. You have to understand the Mormon faction cartel, El Paso cartel, are the criminal traffickers. You name it, humans, organs, babies, weapons. They are the traffickers, okay? This Mormon faction are the traffickers, and they also provide protection, make an alliance for the Jeffrey Epstein pipeline. And, I think the Ponzi scheme, the Ponzi scheme with these, millionaires and billionaires that Jeffrey Epstein was absolutely engaged in and conducting. And if you ask me how I know this, it's because I we have intelligence coming in, and now it's for everyone to see. If you just go to YouTube, you can watch him say it from his own mouth. Okay, you can watch him say it from his own mouth. So, sorry about that. Just making sure everything uh, works. It says, I don't understand why you're pro Trump. He was at the island. They were friends. But Jeffrey, those are all very good questions. Jeffrey Epstein was a financier. Okay. He was a child sexual offender. He was a child, he was a not just child, but sexual trafficker. But he was running a Ponzi scheme. Okay. And this is what people overlook. When you watch the YouTube, you will see that his his interest was in the Ponzi scheme. Okay, he was all the other things, but he ran a Ponzi scheme. He is a deceiver, a liar, a manipulator, a transhumanist, Ponzi schemer. You know, it's it's very clear that you had the movers, the shakers, and I'm not saying they're really good movers and shakers. Look at our country. We're not. Um, we haven't advanced. Let's just say that when you have $38 trillion in debt, we should have the most miraculous cities. I always tell my kids for that kind of money, it should be silver gold roads. There should not be a pothole anywhere. There should be constant um, nighttime cleaning of everything. Everything should be just, I mean, beautiful for $38 trillion in debt, right? And all the taxes that we pay. So, um, when I'm saying the movers and the shakers, maybe those that own the monopolies, the monopolies. Like you go rent a car and you find out that, it doesn't matter who you're renting from, it's all kind of owned by the same people. Um, you can't really shop anymore, right? You can't really shop anymore. So um, this is, it's kind of, someone put it really good. And I'm trying to remember her name. Atlas Shrugged. Atlas Shrugged. If you haven't read that book, and I'm trying to remember her name, please, someone, if you've read Atlas Shrugged, you have these top people, and if you take them down, gosh, all of a sudden, then you have a lot of people starving. You have a lot of people, you have major crime and everything. Um, because we've seen that in communist countries, right? We've seen all of this happen, and oh gosh, what's her name? Anyway, I'm gonna have to go look it up. But uh, when you understand that this is about financial markets and that it's about the economy and that it's about the economy and I'm going to repeat again, it's about the economy and that without an economy, terrible, terrible things happen. Terrible things happen. So I think the shoot from the hip, um, with everyone that's mentioned in this million-page release, uh, you know, eh, I think you have to just um, really think twice about everything that you're reading and seeing. So, and we've been contacted by so many people, and the attacks seem to only be on President Trump. And you have to remember that Obama knew about this, Clinton knew about this, Biden knew about this, law enforcement knew about this, the military knew about this, the CIA knows about this. They all know. They all know. And it's been very hush hush until really uh, 2016. 2016, when the arrests started happening, the movement started happening. So you had El Chapo being arrested, you had Jeffrey Epstein being arrested, you had um, Ghislaine Maxwell arrested, you had Cesar Duarte arrested, you had many people, right? And the attacks were absolutely towards President Trump, not to those that um, were clearly implicated in what was being released. And there was no caring for the victims, none. And there was just attack after attack after attack. And in 2019, very when Richard was there at Fort Bliss, there was the Walmart mass shooting. So Richard was reporting, and then came the Walmart mass shooting. Okay, that's very important for people to know what came first. Richard's reporting came first, and then the Walmart mass shooting. And we know, because of talking with him, that it was very, very bad, especially in Qatar too. His unit was out of control in Qatar. The leadership was out of control in Qatar, and it was so bad that Richard, being a distinguished honor graduate, number one in basic training, and so excited about joining the military, wanting to be CID, wanting to be a criminal investigator, um, was and wanted to make the military his career, and I know that because he told me. So, and that's why he went in trying so hard and making rank so quickly, because he wanted to do really, really well and make it his career. But when he went to Qatar, or some people call it Qatar, he changed his mind completely. And we know that because he told us. It was so bad. It was just so bad. And so he reported first, and then came the Walmart mass shooting. And the Walmart mass shooting, if unless you're in El Paso area, a lot of people go, "What? When did that happen? What?" 2019, August 3rd, which is Dallas Hart's birthday, Richard's platoon leader, who is the prime suspect, um, in taking Richard's life. Um, it's his birthday. Can you believe that? Is that a coincidence? I don't know. I don't know. Especially since Richard, after the Walmart mass shooting, was reporting the ties between Fort Bliss and the Walmart mass shooting. And we know that the military was involved in that. So, but Richard was reporting before that. And the Walmart mass shooting was an operation. Every day that goes by, it's clearer and clearer that it was an operation. And it was primarily to attack President Trump. It was also bloody, and they had targets like Alexander Gerhard Hofmann. He was absolutely a target. He was about to go back over to Germany. He's German national, but he had made Juarez, Mexico, his home for decades, and he was absolutely a target. His family was in possession of our son's credit cards and financial documents after Richard's life was taken. Okay, that really connects the Walmart mass shooting with Richard, because a lot of people don't understand how they're connected. They're very intertwined. There's more reasons than that, especially when it comes to the military being involved, um, at, in the Walmart mass shooting, and the retaliation that Richard received, who it came from, um, and with us and our family. So later, after Richard had lost his life. So absolutely, the Walmart mass shooting was an attack on President Trump. And I think it was a retaliation for and a diversion from what Richard was reporting. Richard was President Trump's witness. And I think that is really important for everyone to know. And Um, that's why the Walmart mass shooting, in so many ways, y'all, the laws that were broken during the whole arrest and everything surrounding or with the Walmart mass shooting case and with Richards, right? The laws that were broken, the regulations, the ethics, the you name it, was so extreme. You just haven't ever seen that before. You just, you can go, look, Richard's case right off the bat had over 15 plus agencies involved, and even more than that. And even more than that. We're way over 20 agencies involved in Richard's case. That, there's just nothing comparable to that. And it's intertwined with the Walmart mass shooting because it was an operation. And it was including the cartel. It was an alliance between our rogue elements, rogue factions in the military, rogue factions in our government, and then in alliance with the Mexican cartel. And of course, with the Mormon faction, El Paso cartel. That's what we've named them. And we've named names like Connell Witten, like Woody Hunt, like Felix Valenzuela, like Tavita Nusa, and I can go on and on. So it's not like we don't want to name names. And they were absolutely, and this is where, DeMargo comes in too. And President Trump just called him a rhino. Right? That was a very big deal the other day, just recently. Because he is. Because he absolutely worked to take President Trump out illegally. Not legally, but illegally. And his man was Beto O'Rourke. And Beto O'Rourke, don't forget this. This is something that you don't hear anywhere else, just here. We discovered it, that he was employing the family of La Diabla. La Diabla, what she was doing with, and this is Tulsi Gabbard, and her name is Aguilar, Mendez Aguilar. when she was arrested, it was like, oh gosh. I mean, because of what we have been put through with people targeting us and who has targeted us, this Martha Alicia Mendez Aguilar, was teaching 16 and 17-year-old girls to perform illegal C-sections on young women that were in crisis pregnancy, promising them things, jobs, you can go to Dreams Cabaret and be a stripper. Cheap C-section, adoption money, they didn't realize that their body would also be of value to these people that wanted their organs. So not only was their baby taken by 16, 17-year-old illegal C-sections if the baby survived, right? And then sold into the United States through the black market, adopted, sold to the homosexual community. That's not me. That was reported. That is not me. That is reported. And the organs, and then you need to dispose of the rest, right? Um, sew them up neatly, then maybe monetize them again as unidentified migrants and have a medical examiner and a system where they're not going to ask, oh, well, this body, why is the kidneys missing? Why is the corneas missing? Why is the skin off their back missing? Why is their heart missing? Why is there, an pancreas missing or whatever? Um, absolutely. Who had her arrested? It was the Trump administration. And with the ties and I'm just answering this question. Um, the ties in the FBI that lead to ties to Texas Tech University Health Science Center. Where are those ties? Those ties goes to Obama. Okay. Sorry. I didn't make those ties. And it's like, really? Okay. So and then the disposal body disposal site, Plenitude Crematorium. What are those ties? Those ties are once again houses that are a house that's right beside Beto O'Rourke, Cano Steel, Inc. These businesses that are uh, evidence of an alliance with the cartel to give visas and liquor license, permits, driver's license, um, to get bank loans, to buy homes, to everything, right? Contracts to cartel operatives. And those cartel operatives made their way into our military. Why else could the military on Fort Bliss run a 10,000 bed emergency intake, quote unquote, unaccompanied minors, right? You don't have 500,000 unaccompanied minors, y'all. No. No. Sorry. No. This is a child trafficking pipeline through our military. And sure enough, we corroborated it, we confirmed it, the witnesses, of course, Congress, everything. It was so dirty they could not hide it. The stench of it. The stench of it. And who knows? I mean, I have a good idea because of witness testimony of what was going on there. But these young people, these crisis pregnancies, this need for organs for international black market uh, purchases, everything. Because remember that these unaccompanied minors were young all the way up to 17 years old. So, just horrible what they did. Absolutely horrible. Hell. Hell on earth. And we know who helped run that. We know who were the oversights to that. We know that they are absolutely tied to this Mormon faction cartel, El Paso cartel, in alliance with the um, Mexican cartel, in alliance with a couple others. Because there's our ongoing investigations, I'm not at liberty to say. So when people, um, and this is all happening in just about a year, all of this is being exposed. And I have some breaking news and breaking news and breaking news. Every day it's like breaking news. Um, that is just so. But I wanted to answer the question, why are we supporting President Trump? Because there is this Mormon faction, El Paso cartel, that has allowed, through visas, making the alliance with the cartels, to infiltrate our country, to infiltrate our military, to infiltrate our government, um, to infiltrate most sensitive uh, parts of our government. And who do they attack? They attack President Trump. They attack ICE. You know, we know now. And I said it day one. I said it day one. I didn't mince any words with Renee Good. I said she's up to no good. Her mother has ties with Haiti children. They have ties with the group there in Colorado. And then when um, Pretty, right? Pretty was shot. And now we know he had a long history of uh, resistance, I guess you would want to call it. Egging them on, like they get $10,000 bonus if some ICE assaults them or something, and they get it on camera. Oh, now I get a $10,000 bonus, right? I mean, he had connections that were very shady with the Ukraine element of all of this. And his RN license was expired. That's the first thing that we said. What is the news? I mean, it only took us 5 minutes to see that. You're saying that the news out there, the Mockingbird news, is not able to find out that his RN license is expired. I mean, come on. And who are they attacking? Are they telling the truth about these people's connections and their troublemaking? Their pay for, a good video, a good TikTok or whatever. No, they're they're targeting President Trump. They're targeting President Trump. And so there is lost time because of these breaches of national security and the false narratives with the media, who are just such an enemy of this country. They really are. And absolutely, because, uh, we have a look into the workings of all of this that most people don't. And we're telling you that, um, and I think what Candace Owens is doing uh, is so necessary. So necessary. Do I think she's right on everything? No. But we need to expose and investigate and everything. And she has many other podcasters that follow her and do extra investigative work and bring out lots of great information that has helped us tremendously. So it is really necessary. But you know, do we think that they have their right to have their opinion, and we have the right to have our opinion? And when it comes to President Trump, we do not agree. We do not agree because of what we know, because of the ongoing investigations that we know is happening, because of our son's case and our connections with law enforcement and um, government officials. We do not agree. And so, you know, sh- uh, the search for what really happened to Charlie Kirk needs to continue. You know, I know that it's this Mormon faction El Paso cartel, and yeah, and it's I don't want it to call it a war. I call it I don't know, maybe it is a battle or um, but it is a fight for this country because we have been infiltrated and we have rogue elements, cartel elements with that. So, which leads me to the breaking news, and of course, we've been absolutely telling everybody, exposing it, mapping it out, drawing it out, using AI to, you know, I love to paint, so I have the painting that it's still not finished, but that I had started right before Richard lost his life brutally, and it's of Justinian and Theodora. I think it's very fitting for this time because you know they had the same thing what they were fighting, and so we just released about Lori Franchi. I hope I say that name right. I don't know. Which is Erica Kirk's mother. Having this E9 on her and having an award given to her that only active duty could that were under an '06 could get, that was a criteria for that award, and she was awarded it, you know. Um so it's like, okay, this is like crazy. She's in the military. She's in the military, you know? And Candace Owens says, oh no, her mother's not in the military. I don't know. She's in the military. Okay. And she's there at Fort Huachuca. And this is intelligence. And this is signal. And this is um, mind control. And then everything comes out with Erica Kirk. And, you know, I think Erica Kirk is like the poster child for mind control, right? And psyop. Um, is she a Delilah? You know, in the Bible, there's Samson and Delilah. Is she a Delilah, right? A Delilah, someone that was, you know, sent in to Charlie to see where his power came from. Where did your power come? Oh, it's from your Superman neck. I don't know. You know, where is your power coming from? It's not your hair, you know. Um, where, you know, how do you do the things that you do, right? Um, because clearly the evidence confirms that she's up to no good. Clearly, you know, like she's a Delilah. She's absolutely a Delilah. Uh, yeah. Um, and both of them, especially Lori, absolutely the Fort Huachuca military intelligence community is a close knit community, y'all. It's a close knit community. And you're going to, one day you're going to find out. It's just, I just can't even tell you. It's just so unbelievable how God's hand is on all of this. And of course, there is an Epstein email drop today. And in that email, it is an email from Jeffrey Epstein's pilot and his pilot. And I'm doing all this by heart. So maybe I need to bring up some notes. But his pilot, Larry, has daughters. And one of those daughters is in the U.S. military. Not only is she in the U.S. military, she's U.S. military intelligence. She's U.S. military intelligence at Fort Huachuca. Not only that, she received top secret clearance, access to our national security. While she is taking money. And, they're all, people are going to hear this. And what are they going to do? They're going to focus on Trump. But Trump was there. But Trump, but Trump, but Trump, but Trump. No, look, this daughter, Brooke, okay, she was taking money from a child sexual offender, a sex trafficker, a con man, a Ponzi scheme con man who called himself a financier, the top financier, to the Rockefellers, to the Trilateral Commission, to the billionaire group like Oprah Winfrey, to, and I'm going to promise you eternal life, and we're going to digitize it. We're going to put it to math and that turn it into a financial instrument. And you'll never have to face God and answer for your predator predatorial crimes. You'll never have to answer to God because you can live forever. Just give me your millions. Just give me your national security, top secret. You know, so here the pilot's daughter is at Fort Huachuca taking money from this sex offender and sex trafficker, and her family receiving a gift of land parcel on the crime scene. On the crime scene. Zorro Ranch. And she gets top secret clearance. Her family owns the crime scene. Taking money from this child sex offender, sex trafficker, while she's at Fort Huachuca. In the intelligence program, getting a top secret clearance. This is outrageous. And people want to talk about Trump. If it wasn't, look, Biden sat on this. Clinton was in the planes with Larry. Larry was the pilot. Hi, how are you doing, Bill? Oh, Bill. Oh, Larry, how's your daughter? It's so good she got her top secret clearance at Fort Huachuca. Who is Signal? Who is going to cover up every flight? I mean, and I don't want to say that she would, but that's what Fort Huachuca is. They were right there. Those planes going in and out to, let's type in the Otovor, that will take us right into Zorro Ranch, my private landing strip, and I am given a parcel of this land for me, for my family. I can live right here on the crime scene. On the crime scene. And now they're searching that crime scene for remains. And there is a April 2020 complaint that may have been submitted by our son about the atrocities happening on that land. This is all coming out because of President Trump. And Mexico, south of the border, is absolutely being disseminated. This cartel alliance for security, because this whole criminal trafficking part of it, this brainwashing, this mind control, all of that, the drugs, the girls, the children, the everything, it was ruinous to the culture on purpose, so that when everybody is compromised, they can't say anything. They can't have righteous indignation. They can't become a whistleblower. They're not reliable sources unless you're in with the crowd like Leilani Hart that needs to be arrested. And she was a convicted criminal and used as a source. And don't forget, she was getting her mail at Dreams Cabaret, the strip joint, beside an empty lot with a lot of shipping containers. Yeah, things are being exposed right now. And it's only because of you voting in 2024 for President Trump and him getting in office and working his butt off. When does he sleep? Very little. He's been working and working and working and working, trying to stave off these saboteurs, right? Trying to bring business back to the United States, build up the economy in the United States. Even with all of these saboteurs that, might have fell for the Ponzi scheme of Epstein, everlasting life or whatever, but on condition that you do the most horrible things to children. You see that was part of the Ponzi scheme. I want all your money, and I know this is a Ponzi scheme. I'm not going to tell you, But just in case you find out and get a little clever, I want to compromise you too with the worst type of demonic crimes against children and women. It was the insurance policy, right? To compromise these very high stakes players, the billionaire millionaires. And that's why there were so many, because they wanted the transhumanism. They wanted the magic elixir so that they would never have to face God. They fell for that stupid Ponzi scheme. And that's why you see so many. Because it wasn't just the elixir, it was that this biological um, magic potion would be digitized mathematically. Don't believe me? Go and listen to the interview. They wanted to digitize the biological to create a financial instrument. He's a financier. So that they could have total um, guarantees to keep their wealth and never have to face God, have quote unquote eternal life. But in order to do that, we had to have a lab. Well, we have to have a lab. Let's put on a show for our Ponzi scheme. We have to have a lab. Let's get the Los Alamos very smart. Oh, these are very, very, very smart researchers, right? Very smart. Oh my gosh. They can find it. They can find the biological formulation to life everlasting because they're so smart. And well, you have to finance them though, but they need something. They need you to do the most horrible demonic things to children because children are the answers to all of this. And the thing is that there's not an answer to it. It was just one big theft Ponzi. One big scam. Because the last time I looked, David Rockefeller is no longer here. He's had to meet his maker. So, yeah, I can't even imagine what the billionaire club, you know, damn it, I wanted to live forever. Um, it's and the thing is, being a Christian, we already have that. But it's on God's terms. You cannot do the most horrible demonic things to children. You cannot exploit migrants because they were exploiting migrants still. You cannot exploit young women and families. And, you have to be selfless. And we just saw what the assistant of that one banker, right? She was getting all kinds of fluffy, fancy stuff, really expensive stuff from Jeffrey Epstein. Now she had to resign, right? Because, they're self serving. They're self serving. And the terms that God has for us is selflessness. They don't like those terms. And now we have, well, the problem with this Mormon faction is that they believe that they can be God. See, that this is because they don't believe in the creeds, right? The Athanasius Creed, the Apostles' Creed, the Nicene Creed. And so they believe that they can be also God. And so they really fell for it with Jeffrey Epstein's Ponzi scheme. Really fell for it hard. And, they have insider knowledge and they still fell for it. Um, and that's what you're seeing. That's why you're seeing so many of the names, right? Who is desperate not to have to face God? Oh, I'll pay some money. I'll pay some money. Just give me that elixir and make sure that I can multiply my monies through this financial. You're so smart, Jeffrey. You're so smart. You can figure out a financial instrument so I can get my money back, what I've given you. Right. Um, yeah, it's, and he created the insurance policy. He created the diversion. He created hell on earth with this criminal trafficking El Paso cartel, Mormon faction El Paso cartel. That's what they are, in alliance with the Mexican cartel, which includes, others, and then giving them access to our country, access to loans, access to licenses, access to permits, access, of course, to visas, access to our national security, access to our intelligence databases. Yeah. And that was all supporting what was going on at Zorro Ranch and Santa Fe with the lab. um, I mean, they can't, they have to close down the entire world for something they can't even isolate. And yet, yet some of the smartest people believe Jeffrey Epstein that he could find an elixir and turn it into mathematics, which in turn could be turned into a financial instrument to guarantee, go to guarantee. I mean, you can't get more demonic, you can't get more selfish, you can't get more evil. So, and it has been President Trump that has unleashed this so that we, the people, can have access to this information. And I know there's a lot of information that's still covered up. But this is a wowzer today with the pilot. It's a wowzer. And this is an additional kicker to all this. Absolutely, Brooke and Lori knew each other. That's the kicker, right? I mean the crime, the major crime is that she's taking money. Brooke is taking money from um, a predator, an offender, a trafficker, and not telling, or maybe she is, maybe she's telling the people doing the top secret clearance on her, right? And they're like, "Oh, but we're invested in the elixir. Don't worry. We're going to cover you cuz we're waiting for that everlasting life, financial instrument." It's like, oh my gosh, Richard must have been like, well, he told me, it is so bad. So bad. They were so compromised because they just thought they would never have to meet their maker. They would never have to face judgment for the things that they do. Well, they lost that one, didn't they? They lost that one. So let's read the comments. Um, yeah, like if uh, Love and Lacey. Trump also dismissed the Epstein files. Remember, are we still talking about? Yeah, like if he's going, oh, we got to talk about the Epstein files or whatever, they would have reacted in a way to, uh, I don't know, to cut. To me, when he said that, it was like, okay, everybody is going to be crazy searching and calling for the Epstein files to be released. Uh, you know, uh, is that called gaslighting or whatever? I mean, when he said that, it was like turbo force. The Congress was like, okay, we got to get this released, right? Um, it's he he, he made a great strategic chess move, didn't he? Or is that called a poker face or a poker move or a bid or whatever? I don't know. But he's not playing on the same game board as these people. Because if you look at his EOs, his executive orders, and how he has handled our son's case and our family, the Walmart case. Remember, Ernest Christopher Grant has been arrested. There's been a lot of arrests, but the media is not reporting it. And Ernest Christopher Grant has been arrested, y'all. So the way and look at all of the dozens and dozens, if not hundreds of cartel leaders, kingpins, uh, those that were over the finances, those that were over the tunnels, those that were the hitmen, those that were running the drugs, those that were, all look at the ships, everything. If he liked this network, he wouldn't have had John of God arrested. He wouldn't have had Jeffrey Epstein arrested. He wouldn't have hit those ships. He would not. I mean, he could be making friends with this trafficking group, but he's not. They're targeting him because he's actually doing things um to break it apart. And him saying the things he's saying, just makes everybody dig into it more. It's it's just beautiful. And you don't think he's the art of the deal, y'all. He's the art of the deal. It's just something to see. It really is. Because we have the letters, and the letters is all about accountability. And I think he dreams, he eats, he sleeps this whole Jeffrey Epstein thing, because everything he's doing is trying to put our financial markets in place better. And there's a lot of saboteurs, okay? Lots of saboteurs. So get our farms working better, um, get the price of gold up. Look at the price of gold up is an indication. It's a huge indication of where he's trying to go financially. And look at him calling out the Fed. Who else has been calling out the Fed and their stupid building that's billions and billions of dollars? You know, yeah, I'm very, very, very much MAGA. We're probably his biggest fans. And absolutely, um, we understand the lies and the retaliation, false stories. We've been on the receiving side of that. And so we understand it, and we understand how he's been attacked, because we've uncovered the Mayellas. We've uncovered the the father being John of God, disciple, right? I mean, we didn't uncover that, but the whole pipeline with the Mayellas and putting it all together, finding all that information that people um, had put out there, and um, putting names to it, and um, putting the pipeline together. So this email is a gift from President Trump, to say that Epstein's pilot's daughter was in the military, and that family owned a piece of the parcel of the crime scene, was taking money from a child offender and trafficker, and got a top secret clearance. Yeah. He's saying our military has been infiltrated, and Fort Huachuca is the intelligence hub, the signal hub, the mind control hub. It's serious. It's very serious. So he was cleared in the. If they would have had anything, they would have. I mean, Biden had this, and oh yeah, there were so many people with leaks and access and everything. They would have really used it against him. Amen. God is good. He exposes, open our eyes. And I believe God is using President Trump. Absolutely. And um, yeah, I think we need to absolutely keep digging through everything and investigating everything, because that's why President Trump released it all, right? He signed it. He didn't have to sign it. He signed the release of all this information. Let's look through it. The Department of Justice has been weaponized for a long time. It is so infiltrated. I don't even know what Pam Bondi is going through. The same thing with the FBI. I know they're so infiltrated. I mean, so many saboteurs in there. Our son's case had just full of saboteurs in it. Um, so we need to absolutely, all of us that want the right thing, want our country to be great, need to investigate and get this information out there. And that's why we're very grateful for everyone coming on and sharing and joining, following us. Please continue to share, 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 share. It's very important. We are a government of the people, by the people, for the people. And these big cats or whatever, the big fish, um, I think they got caught in a net, a Ponzi net. Okay. And so it really is up to us to do this heavy lifting of investigation and putting the pieces together and getting it out to save our country. So, thank you. So, and pressuring. One of the things that we can do that President Trump is all for is having an ID in order to vote, right? To showing an ID when we vote because there is such heavy infiltration. Uh, and that would be, restrain it a bit because some people will have, false IDs and stuff. But this would, um, restrain all the cheating and all the fraud a bit. Yeah, put a dent in it. It wouldn't be the end of all, right? But it would absolutely put a huge dent in the fraud. So, thank you so much. God bless you. And this is the vicious negotiation for our son's remains. Please remember that it is vicious. It's very vicious. We see what's happening over in Mexico. Mexicans, they're tired of the cartel having the control over their country. And so a lot is happening in Mexico. We're keeping a close eye on that. And of course, in our country too, um, keeping an eye in it, the reason why I'm mentioning Mexico, keeping an eye on Mexico, is that is where our son's remains are. And we want our son's remains. We want our son's remains. So this is a vicious negotiation, and um, and we're working very, very hard behind the scenes to file, document the crimes and file them over and over again. And lots is happening behind the scenes. So thank you so much. God bless you.